Very inspiring story of a doctor and a pilot from the UK. Her name is Sophia Webster. She's travelled across Africa for 3.5 months, working towards bettering the lives of women and children. Here is a quick story.
On the 1st of August, obstetrician and pilot Dr. Sophia Webster boarded her Cessna light aircraft at Cranfield Airport in the UK on a mission to the African continent. The purpose of her flight? To highlight and help prevent maternal mortality and to promote safer pregnancy for women. Faced with incredible odds, she traveled over 12,000 kilometers on an epic journey that took her across 26 African countries over a 4-month period. She titled the initiative Flight for Every Mother.
When you compare women in Western Europe and America to women in developing countries, but specifically in sub-Saharan Africa, there's a huge difference in the rate of maternal deaths. And the shame of it is that the women that are dying in sub-Saharan Africa are dying from preventable or largely preventable problems.
Since 1990, maternal deaths worldwide have dropped by 47%. But an estimated 287,000 women still pass away each year from pregnancy and delivery-related complications globally. A woman in Africa has a 1 in 39 risk of dying during pregnancy or from delivery-related complications. As a result, over 1 million children are left motherless and vulnerable, and children who have lost their mothers are 10 times more likely to pass away prematurely. Raising awareness of the acute issues facing African women, Sophia experienced firsthand how simple techniques that are commonplace in the West can mean the difference between life and death in Africa and help to save the lives of countless women and children. Sophia was challenged both emotionally and physically at every turn, but the lives she touched along the way will be forever changed. And on these 16 days of activism, we applaud her for her selfless work on our beautiful continent.
And here we have Dr. Sophia live in the flesh. That looked like an incredible journey. Welcome to Expresso.
Oh, thanks very much.
So what inspired this journey of yours and also your love for Africa and the rest of Africa?
You know, I've really developed a love of Africa over the last 10 years since I qualified as a doctor. I think working as a gynecologist, I began to appreciate that women in the UK have a very different story in pregnancy and childbirth to women in the African continent. You know, the women here, they're the ones that give life, they educate, they nurture the children, and then when they so frequently, compared to the UK, die in childbirth, that really leaves a big impact on their families. So that's what really motivated my journey, just to shout louder about the problem and have that more appreciated on a world scale.
Is that purely a fact of the lack of proper medical facilities?
There are lots of factors. So there are problems getting women to hospital and to places where they can have a safe childbirth. But also then the facilities are often lacking in resource, and so problems can occur there too.
So what can we do to bring these numbers down? I mean, this was your aim, traveling through Africa, because sub-Saharan Africa accounting for more than half of maternal deaths.
Yeah,
I mean,
the numbers are
amazing. Big number.
Yeah. Well, there are lots of things we can do. I think, first of all, to get it out there as a problem and make the consumers, so the patients and the women themselves, really know that this isn't acceptable. There are many countries in the world where safe childbirth is possible, and so to try and drive up the standards. There are lots of specific things, like educating women that they should go to the hospital to give birth with a midwife and a doctor that's been trained with the right skills. Then we can also equip those people, so the midwives and the doctors, with the skills they need in order to allow a safe childbirth. And then try and push more resources into the hospitals and increase the number of midwives and doctors. They're just a few examples of what we can do.
Indeed, Dr. Sophia, thank you so much. I mean, also for your fantastic work and joining us here this morning. I know this is probably not your type of call time.
Yeah, it's not my normal type of morning, but it's great to be here.
But at least it's a beautiful day in the Mother City. Suns out. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay for a cup of coffee if you don't mind.